Oh,
Welcome to Sparkle. And today here we have a wonderful guest, Kathy O'Brien. And she is in our community and she's a delightful woman. And she definitely has a wonderful story. And Sparkle is a not-for-profit reaching out to all women to connect, inspire, and encourage through stories and testimonies of ordinary women who have a relationship with God. So, Kathy, welcome to Sparkle.
well,
And
thank you.
yes, we're so excited to hear your story this morning. And maybe if you could talk a little bit about your family and maybe just some of your background, and
Mhm.
then we can go on with your story. So go
Oh,
ahead.
all right, sounds good. Um, so, as we know now, I am Kathy O'Brien, and in for this story, it's going to be about me and my younger sister, and it's there's quite a bit to it, so I'm going to try to keep it short enough so that we don't run out of time. And so, what I would like to start with is my sister and what happened to her and how God saved her.
Hmm.
Okay, so she is a little bit younger than I am, about 5 years younger than I am, and we're very, very close. We seem to have a lot of our traits are similar, and so we're not supposed to have favorites, but she's always been my favorite in my family. Don't tell my other siblings. I think they already know though. So, what happened was about 6 years ago, Jackie got diagnosed with a very terrible cancer in the colon area and even around the area. And it was very aggressive. And it was getting so aggressive that they had to quickly get her treatment because it was the tumor was growing very fast and it was tearing in her insides. And as you can imagine, that is extremely excruciatingly painful. And it was just such a hard it was just such a shock and everything, and just I don't even know how she was able to get through that all this pain, but she has. And we know now why, because she turns to God all the time now. And so what happened was she had to get the chemo and the what's the other one, the
Radiation.
radiation. Yeah, she was going to have that on a certain day, so I went with her and her husband David, so I could like be their support there, and in case anything happened I would be there. And so we were in the car, and David got out of the car, I got out of the car, and as David was getting out of the car, Jackie just fell right down to the parking lot, and we did not know what happened. She just was out, and she was down. And so, fortunately, the people in the hospital saw what happened in the parking lot, and they got a gurney and they got her on it, got her in the hospital. So we went into the hospital, and it turned out that she had a very bad stroke.
Hmm.
So the very first day she's supposed to have chemotherapy and radiation, she now has a stroke. So that's really a lot to swallow.
Yes, yes.
And ever since then, she has had so many problems. I mean, if you can imagine, like when having a stroke, one side of her, doesn't work as well anymore. And there's all kinds of heart conditions and things like that going on. And so it's been very, very tough with that. And then with the cancer, the worst thing about that was the radiation. She After at first it wasn't too painful, but as time went on, I guess what happens is because of the radiation, you get scar tissue and ulcers and all kinds of other things down in that area, and it's extremely painful.
Yeah.
So I have cried a million billion cry
Tears. Yeah.
for her.
Well, I know. So how did that affect you spiritually in that whole?
Oh, I just kept praying and praying and praying to God, and I would ask Him very specifically. And so, and I also always wanted to keep her spirits up. I didn't want her, I mean, you can imagine she had a lot of dark thoughts at times, and that scared me because I know she was thinking about death, that she might be better off being dead.
Right.
And of course I didn't want that to happen. And so I have been a runner. Ran marathons a long time ago, which sounds like it doesn't connect here, but it does. So when I had my own business and I had my own timing that I could do my work, I would run through my neighborhood because I love to run. And I would run through the neighborhood and talk to God. And I would ask Him. And I asked Him, would He please help in her suffering so that she can have some quality of life? And boy, oh boy, He really did. He. Let me see how I was saying it was. He really took that on, and it's amazing what God did that day. So what happened was I'm running and I'm asking Him that, and I hear a few things, and then all of a sudden I realized that God wasn't talking to me at that moment. He was talking through me to Jackie, because He was saying things like this. I'm going to have to read this part to you. It's so you
Great.
can see
Yeah.
what it means. Just give me a minute. Oops. Okay, this is what I heard God saying at first. He said, let me get there. He said, sorry, just a minute. Oh, here it is. He said, you are a fighter. You are a conqueror. You are a survivor. You are a warrior. You do not go down without a fight. That is not you. When you're not happy about something in your life, you make a change. You don't give up. If something's hard, you just keep working on it and get rid of the obstacle. You do your part. And again, he's talking to Jackie this time. You do your part, and I'll do the rest for you. If you're going to go down, you will go down with a fight. I made you that way. And then because I knew she was thinking about death thoughts, and that was the thing that was really concerning me. And so God said, um, to heck with worrying about death. Everyone will die sometime. So don't even think about that or worry about it. No fears needed, just faith. I am, and I am with you always. And
Oh,
as you can imagine, I'm crying through the whole thing. And also, because I was running and I realized he was talking about her and saying this, I ran as fast as I could back home. Fortunately, I wasn't too far away. And so, oh, I lost my train of thought there for a second. So let me see here. Yeah, he would say, so he was saying, that not to worry about all those things. And, there's so much more, but I know we don't have enough time for all that. But I think I'm just going to read a few other things that he said. Okay.
okay.
So he said, you don't give up. Oh, I already did that one. He's the one about to heck with worrying about, death. And then, okay, so actually, I guess that's what was happening. And so I wrote everything down the best I could, and then I typed it up, and then I took it over to my sister's house, and I said, Jackie, I want you to read this. These are not my words. These are God's words. And she thought that was a bit strange at first. And then,
But I know, but because you felt as though God was speaking directly to you in regards to her. So
yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
yes. And so she read it, and of course she cried, and I cried. And then I went back home, and she put it in a frame, and she's got it to this day still, that of course. And she said that this is the hard part. Okay, I have to get a tissue real quick if you don't mind. No. Oh, I don't have one.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And I know,
Without.
Kathy, yeah,
So
Kathy, you have such a big heart. So, yeah.
I've been told that a couple times.
Yeah. So she's still doing well, though.
She is much better now. This has been over 6 years now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And
She fought and God was with her.
yeah, and God said, "You are a fighter. I
You're a
made you that way." And
unbelievable.
yeah.
So when we pray and intercede for people like that, God does hear our prayers. And sometimes he directly answers like that. And
Yes.
that's amazing. So
It
that
is.
definitely increased your faith.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you also have been going through some difficult things yourself.
Yeah.
I have seen, I mean, you have you have an amazing faith. You have a lot of strength. And you're right now in a good situation because
Mhm.
God is with you in your difficult time. I
Oh,
know, and maybe
yeah.
you can talk about that briefly.
About mine, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
just briefly.
Yeah, okay. It was I when I was a high school teacher, I started realizing that I was having a struggle to find the words that I wanted to say to the students. And I thought, well, it's just because I'm aging, right? So time went on, and then eventually it turned out that I went ahead and got tested to see if I was having memory loss. And I do have memory loss now, and I had it then, and I didn't really know it. But and so that's what's happening, and I'm doing everything I can to keep my brain healthy so that I can keep moving on and moving on. And
Right.
so
I think you're doing amazing. And it's not Alzheimer's. It's not anything like that. It's something that happened when you were young. It was a brain injury that's come back to that does often in like people that play football or sports, that kind of thing. And they're doing testing in your and just your spirit though about that, because you've recently let go of your job and you've kind of decided that you're just going to give the whole thing to God. Your submission to God in that and just knowing that he's in control is huge to me and to everybody around you because you have such joy in it.
oh, thank you. Yeah, you are so right that he has provided so many things ever since I really had the diagnosis that I had mild cognitive impairment, which could eventually get worse. But you know what? I'm still the same.
Yeah,
And this has been going on for years.
I
And
know.
and I'm so happy that I had surrendered to God. I just said, it is all yours. I trust you. You tell me what you want me to do for you. I'll do it. And it has worked beautifully because I have been able to help a lot of people with things. And my life I'm happy. Even
Yeah,
though
no,
I have
you can
condition.
tell. You have a lot of energy. You have a lot of energy. And you know what? Just your joy when you're around, I can just sense that you are just totally just trusting in God in your situation.
Oh yeah,
So, but thank
definitely.
you, Kathy, for sharing your story. I know it's short and quick, but it's an encouragement to everybody and
Yes.
inspiration. Just the story about your sister and how God spoke to you, you interceded for her, and
Yeah.
God gracious, and also with this with your ongoing situation we're praying for you and
Oh, thank you.
but just thank you for being such a joy. So we love
Okay.
having you on the show. So thank you for joining us on Sparkle, and we look forward to hearing from our next show next time. All
Is
right.
it possible for me to say one last thing about Jackie?
Yeah, go ahead
She
real
told
quick.
me that if I hadn't brought that to her on that day, that document I had for her, she said I wouldn't be here today.
Oh my goodness. See?
He was thinking of suicide.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I thought that was important to share.
Well, yes, and I think it's important to realize that we do need to be praying for other people and just
Yes.
assisting. Yeah. Okay. So
All
thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Have a
Thank
great
you for
day, Kathy.
having me. You have a great day.
Okay, thanks for joining us on Sparkle.
Yep.